I take letters of condolence, 2525 Vermont Avenue. So, you know, if I'm going to spend half of my working life at Midstate, I want to at least love my job. I want to get up in the morning and want to go to work. I think a lot of people, we can say that they hate their job. They can't stand it. I say, well, why are you there? Why are you there? Life's too short. So if employees will spend roughly half their waking hours working and living in an environment you create as a leader, you know what I'm saying? Then how do you respond to this responsibility? How do you respond? Kind of a lot of pressure there. Again, the working environment that we're creating is going to determine whether or not they stay and whether or not your company ultimately survives. So what I've got, just a simple exercise. In the back of your book, you're going to see some color. Since we do ultimately have insurance as part of what we do in the business, it's very seldom that we have color. So this is how we have to bring it into the picture here. So just real quickly, actually we're going to do something else first. Instead of doing that, we'll skip that for a second. We'll go around just briefly. I know you guys maybe aren't public speakers, so I won't put you on the spot, but just briefly tell me what your name is, just so everyone makes sure that they know your position and why you came to this session, what you hope to get from this particular session, and more importantly, tell me what you think about that statement right there. How do you respond to this responsibility? Why don't you go first, Wanda, just because I know you for so long.
Well, I'm Wanda Mills, and I'm with Nibbles Corporation. My official title is Executive Assistant. I had a boss one time that told me I was administrator without portfolio, whatever he needed me to do today. Anywhere from making coffee to managing sales to looking at the financial report.
HR, everything.
HR, everything. So, what was your next question? How do you respond?
Well, the next question is that what do you hope to get out of this session this afternoon? We hope to learn, and then how do you respond to this responsibility?
I'm hoping to get information that will keep me out of trouble. Because
That's a good answer.
I tend to react with my heart and not my head always.
You know what? That's a good foundation, though, because a lot of times you can get out of a lot of trouble. Like with the ADA, I've got a mentor that helps me with OSHA, and actually he obeys a lot of the laws just because of his heart. You actually get out of a lot of trouble when you do lead with your heart. Sometimes you just got to make sure you do that for everybody, not just the ones you like. So, Mary, what's...
I'm Marion Lambert with Argus Utilities, and they own two construction companies, Richardson Whalen Electric and Contracting Enterprises. Recently, HR manager as of last January. So, and I was working with Richardson Whalen construction for 30 years. So now I work with Argus Utilities, the owner. And what I want to get out of this is really I'm just trying to gather all the information I can with being in HR and management, and try to I'm condensing and employee manuals, trying to make it
two different companies,
consistent three, the Argus
three,
and the two companies, so, and just really gathering all the info I can to make it a good environment.
Absolutely.
You know, because I spend half my day at work.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do too. So.
Absolutely, making a better environment. So how do you respond to this responsibility?
Just do all I can.
Do all you can.
To
That's all
improve.
sometimes you can do.
Yeah.
You just got to take it one day at a time. Bonnie?
Yeah.
What's your name, position? What do you hope to get out of this afternoon session, and how do you respond to this responsibility?
My name is Bonnie Neal. I'm the Vice President of Operations with Thickness Anthony's. I run all the restaurants. I'm hoping out of this is just some more information dealing with restaurant managers. Different. I've been in a corporate environment, now in a restaurant environment. It's a little different approach. Harder to pull them all together, you know, to do things with. So I'm looking for some direction and things that will help out with that. I'm also hoping I can stay for the whole session.
She's got some cats she's trying to herd in.
I'm sorry for the disruptions. I'm trying not to be. And how do I respond? respond to this responsibility. I think I try to take the approach, as with most jobs, restaurants can be really chaotic and crazy. And so we try, it's holidays, it's weekends, it's not necessarily the most fun things to do at times. And so I try to take the approach of just making it as much fun as possible, considering the situations that we have, and considering the restrictions that we have and some of the challenges that we have, to just try and create a fun environment, even though it can be stressful at times.
And I love that, because if it ain't fun, it ain't gonna get done.
That's right.
Gotta keep it fun no matter what, and that's kind of the environment we want to create. Say, we want to go somewhere to work that's fun.
Yeah.
Once it stops being fun, that person that loves making cakes in their own kitchen and goes to open up her own business, when it stops being fun, it loses its flavor and its taste. So, Justin?
My name is Justin McCoy. I'm with Famous Anthony's also, and I'm the Director of Operations.
What do you hope to get from this afternoon?
I'm trying to get as much information as possible. Learn new tricks. Anything to kind of make me succeed.
Absolutely.
A lot better.
Glad to have you. How do you respond to this responsibility? Since you're the operations guy, you're creating that environment too.
I think the biggest part for me is to try to develop a family. I think including everybody into, it's kind of like, just making them part of making them feel like they're part of the company.
Make them feel their value. Absolutely.
And developing a family, I've learned that they kind of watch after each other. They don't, they have a tendency of not wanting to screw their next fellow person if it's more of a family atmosphere.
Yeah, that's what Nucor is, a family. They watch out after each other, and they bring each other up, because it affects everybody in that environment.
I'm Debbie Bryan. I work at Security Skill. I do quality and safety.
She does it all. HR.
I do all kinds of stuff, not enough time. But I've learned like this morning, but I can apply everything I'm doing in other aspects of my job too, not just like in the manual. Training wise for this, yes, but in other aspects of our business too, as well as training as relates to a culture. And I kind of look at everybody like family too. Actually, if you ever come to my office, everybody's on my wall. I have a family tree of all the employees on
They
my
got
wall.
very loyal employees too, from what I understand. Very
Yes,
loyal.
they come and stay.
Yeah, that's good. So
Yeah.
obviously you're already doing things right. It's just a matter of maybe tweaking it just a little bit, a little extra ideas.
I'm Carl Robertson. I'm with Security Scale as well. I'm the service manager here at our main facility and for all of our outlying offices as well. We sell, service, install, rent, lease, anything that weighs. I'm in the middle. If it goes good, that's great. If it goes bad, it's my fault. So, how do you respond to this responsibility? We were, when I started, we were relatively small. We had one office here in Roanoke and a guy that worked out of his basement in Lynchburg. And we've grown quite a bit. We have several offices now. And I've had to change a little bit, but I'm still using methods I think that are about 10, 12 years old. You try to treat everybody as an individual and address their individual needs, but I find that it's hard to do that. There's new rules, regulations, things we have to comply with, accrediting bodies, things of that nature. That, having to do that is, and still retain that one-on-one relationship is hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're trying to manage the business and you're trying to take into consideration all these compliance issues. It's hard to manage, and it's hard to manage people. And I think I'm hearing a lot of comments like you want to create a family environment, you want to attend to their needs. So I don't think you guys are far off, and actually you might be closer than you think. Because let's take a real look at the word management. Why does management, especially, I mean, we're all in management. I mean, we are the evil people. I mean, we're those people that everyone hates. Why is that? Why is management considered such a bad word? Why do you think they despise it?
Because they think that your job is a cakewalk and their job is hard.
Yeah, definitely
They
could be
do all
one
the
reason.
work and that you have no responsibility other than watching them.
Yeah, because you know what? You're the manager telling them what their responsibilities are. I mean, it's you've got none, you don't answer to anybody, and here you are barking out orders possible. So there is that kind of thing. He just sits back, well, we do all the work. There is that kind of perception. And I guess the question is, do any of you like to be managed? Is anyone going to raise their hand and say, I love being managed?
I don't mind being managed, I don't like being handled.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the same thing, you know. Yeah, I don't like to be handled. Absolutely. So no one really likes to be managed. So, you know, when we have a bad day, sometimes that we have to manage them, but most often we are human beings, and we don't handle or manage human beings. We manage our checkbook, we manage our resources, we manage our inventory, we manage our fleet. But when it comes to human beings, we really don't manage them. Because no one likes to be managed. So if we don't like to be managed, I think it's safe to say that most people underneath us don't like to be managed. And we're going to see there's a difference between managed and legislating their behavior. Once you start having to manage, I mean, what happens? You look at Good to Great, and you read that book, and it starts talking about the bureaucracy that's put in place. Why? Well, it's because you've got people that need to be managed. So now you put a management structure in to manage the people that shouldn't be managed. They're adults. So all of a sudden you've got a whole team of people, a whole group of people that need to be managed. And what does that usually do when there's other great people, innovative and creative people in your business? When you have people that need to be managed and you have people that don't, what happens to those that don't need to be managed? Destroy them. And what do they usually do? They leave. They leave because ultimately they have a choice. So what usually happens is that you have more and more people that come into the business that need to be managed because all the good ones leave. So you need more and more bureaucracy to manage the problem that we have. So technically, if we do things the right way, we actually have to manage less. We actually need to focus more on what we're there to do to begin with, and that is to accomplish the purpose of security scales, or Famous Anthony's, or Argos, or Newbold. So really what we want to do is look at a different concept, leadership. Really, what is leadership? Leadership is nothing more than a skill of influencing people to work enthusiastically. My wife saw this the other day, and she's just like, I love that word, because she's always telling me, I don't enthusiastically agree. We have to agree to something, she and I have to enthusiastically agree. She read a book too, so when we have these discussions, she's like, I don't enthusiastically agree. So she uses enthusiastically a lot in our house. So when she saw this, she was all, so she's got some stuff that she contributed to this conversation. So I better do this because I wrote it down in front of her. I got her all excited, so I better use it. So when you look at the definition of leadership, circle the word skill. The skill of influencing people to work enthusiastically towards goals identified as being for the common good. So really, to reiterate, leadership is a skill. It's not something that I'm born with, technically. I mean, there are people that have personality traits that are more conducive to leadership, but anyone can be a leader, anyone can develop skills. I'm not a good mechanic, but I can develop that skill. I can become, maybe a good carpenter, but I'm not going to be a great carpenter. I don't have the skills. It would take a lifetime possibly to be as skillful as some of these people. But they develop it over a lifetime. I don't have the patience to do that. So, my skill sets is in other areas. But leadership, again, is learned and acquired. That gives us all hope. Is that if we don't have the skill now, we can develop it over time. And trust me, over 13, 14 years of being in Mid-State, Mike and Brendan can tell you that what my leadership abilities were years ago. And that hopefully it's getting better. So, and really, when you look at this, the skill is of influencing others. How do we get people to do our will? How do we actually get people to give us their ideas, their commitment, their creativity, their innovation? How do we get that from somebody? To do our will. Our will is a security scales, or a will of Famous Anthony's. And there's really two ways to do this. When you really look at it. One is power. Power. Power is nothing more than forcing or coercing somebody.